Hey guys, this video is going to be a book review of What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty. Quite a while ago, I thought this book looked like a really interesting read, so I got it on my Kindle and then left it alone for quite a while and only got around to reading it in November, so this review's actually been quite a long time coming. What Alice Forgot is about a woman called Alice Love who wakes up at the gym having had a bad fall and discovers that she's lost 10 years of her own memories. The last things that she remembers about her life are that she's pregnant with her first child, has an amazing relationship with her husband Nick, is madly in love with him in fact, and is really friendly and open with her sister Elizabeth. What she discovers about her life is that she has 3 kids, her and Nick are splitting up, and her and Elizabeth have drifted apart. From the time that she gets out of hospital, she is determined to find out what is going wrong with her marriage and fixing it. However, it seems that all the answers to the questions that she's asking all come down to another figure from the last 10 years that she does not remember at all. Gina. I quite enjoyed this book, despite it being not really my usual sort of book. My normal genre is action, adventure, fantasy, and just all sorts of weird and wacky stuff happening. Whereas this is more of a unusual situation in a slice of life. So it's a bit of a different thing for me. The reason that I picked it out on my Kindle was the premise of the plot seemed really interesting. I mean, come on. It's dealing with the question of what would yourself from 10 years ago think about you now. I felt that the book did a really quite good job of showing what it would actually feel like to be in that situation. Alice has no memory at all of the last 10 years, and she goes into denial. She tries to actually just go back to being the way she was as best as she can remember, rather than the way that she has been over the past 10 years from growing and changing. That's a kind of reasonable reaction. Denial is a pretty good reflex for this sort of situation. However, the book does actually show that this is a really quite unhealthy reaction, as Alice actually neglects some very important things due to the denial that she is letting herself get into. On a different note, I felt that one weakness of the book was the love triangle between Nick, Alice and Dominic. It felt like Alice could have picked either one of them and still been happy, and yet she still ended up with Nick. And I feel like that is a weakness because Nick was shown to be kind of hateful at times and not a very pleasant person, whereas Dominic was really quite pleasant in most of the ways that he was not. However, the book does kind of note that the way that marriage kind of works with couples like these is it's whoever was around first, whoever they've got the most history with, whoever they have the most chemistry with. Despite that, like, the two of them had chemistry with Alice, but Nick had the most history, so he ended up with her. So while there was also a weakness, it was also a bit of a strength because it was kind of realistic on that front. Another thing that I quite liked was that Alice's chapters were interspersed with excerpts from Elizabeth's letters to her therapist and bits from Franny's blog. Both of them gave quite interesting insights into Alice's family life over the last 10 years, as well as in general, to be honest, making us know why Alice is the way she is in very many ways. And to be honest, it's also the biggest bit of exposition about how different Alice has become over the last 10 years. However, these both had subplots to them, and I felt that the one of Franny with Xavier was kind of weird, really. It was a little off, and I didn't particularly enjoy that. It was off-putting. However, on another note, I felt that the book was also kind of unrealistic as to the reactions toward Alice's amnesia. Most of them just assumed that she could remember things, even when they were quite aware of her amnesia. In fact, I would say that her mother and the mothers that she goes to the school with, they're really bad for this. It just kind of made me feel a bit like, why are you still asking her this? She is clearly not remembering it. Why? Overall, I did feel that I enjoyed this book for an interesting philosophical point about time and self-identity, despite its own issues that there were plenty of. The comment question is, what do you think that yourself from 10 years ago would think of you now? I am really not sure how my 12-year-old self would think about me. Probably that I'm a bit pathetic, but it's an interesting sort of thought exercise. I think there's some ways that I would definitely be pretty damn cool to myself from 10 years ago, but yeah. Tell me in the comments below what you think. I would love to hear what you reckon about your self from 10 years ago.
I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails above to see other videos by me, including the start of my 2016 commitments and my unboxing of December's Loot Crate that came very late with the theme of Galaxy. Bye.